So new group because Ghostin is very standard textbook, evergreen book usually. Okay. So it has been used a very long time, and still a complete solution is solution. Nobody have provided that one. That is complete solution. As I told, Homer Reed from MIT tried some problem, but those were again easy problems only. So he didn't try all problem. He didn't give solution to all problem. So let us try that one. Okay. So that's why add as much as people. I mean, so that we need ideas. Okay. Let me upload Ghostin question screenshot. Okay. So you try to solve that one. So in that group. Okay. In that group, so that we need ideas. Okay. We need ideas. I mean, so one of my students used to say, even maybe Ghostin don't know how to solve his own problem. I mean, sometimes we will not get what he is expecting. Problems are, very different, very unique. Sometimes it's very difficult to solve. Some problem, again, many problems are derived out of that one. Okay, so many MIT problems and outside problem and CSIR questions, they are so derived out of Ghostin question, even last time question also. Okay, so that's why. So we need to somehow concentrate on those questions, okay, separately. So let us discuss that one, okay. Yeah. So now where do I start? So let us start by solving one classical mechanics question. Let me just get into complex analysis. I hope you have done double pendulum. It is a solved problem in JEST Upadhyaya, okay. It's a solved problem in JEST Upadhyaya. So just try that one, but try in my way, okay. How he has done? By taking x1, y1, x2, y2 and taking derivative. So don't do like that. So try in my way, okay, because that is too lengthy step. Again, so let us take one theorem here, okay. And that's very important theorem. While revising, I think I'll give 100% idea. By that time, you will have a gauge transformation also in from electrodynamics. Where is Ghostin? Okay. Yeah, I'm referring third edition, okay, Ghostin third edition. Anyhow, let me upload those questions, okay. What are the questions to solve from this book? So in the exam point of view, okay. We can show this one, okay. He has given that one at the end of this chapter as a question. Suppose if you add a total time derivative, suppose you have one earlier Lagrangian, okay. Usually it's a function of q, q dot and t. Am I right? You have one earlier Lagrangian. If you add one total time derivative, df by dt, f is any differentiable function of coordinate and time usually, okay, of q and t. Is that okay? So then you will get some new function. Am I right? L dash of how to write a q dot t. Is that okay? So now this Lagrangian and this Lagrangian, both of them will give same equation of motion, and we can show that one. That is again a theorem outside. So just try that one. That's again let me just quote that one. That's the theorem. So 8, problem number 8, okay. So derivations kind of problem. So problem number 8. He has given derivations and then exercise. Okay, exercise is a kind of problems. Derivations are derivations. Okay, in the derivation, 8th derivation. Okay, if L is the Lagrangian of a system of n degree of freedom satisfying Lagrange's equation, show by direct substitution that L dash is equal to L plus df by dt is also satisfies the Lagrange's equation where f is any arbitrary differentiable function. I mean, remember, Here we are not quoting Q1, Q2 and so on up to Qn. Is that okay? So I told in the morning, we just removed that summation and something, okay? And we are just writing f of q comma t. That means f of q1, q2, q3 and so on up to qn, n the generalized coordinate, comma t, okay? So we are not writing like that. So just see that one. This is derivation 8. So try this one, okay? And again we shall solve this question later, because again the best example is our gauge transformation. 8th problem and I think 9th problem. So 7th, 8th, derivation 8, 7, 8 and 9, okay? These three are needed. These three are needed. Have a note on that one. So this 8 and 9, 8th problem is this one, to derive that one. I mean, to show that both of them will satisfy the same equation of motion, that is the derivation. So 9th one is gauge transformation. We better to discuss after that one, okay? Or let me just so try that one in between, because I need some gradient idea, I need some gauge transformation idea, I need some electrodynamics idea, okay, to solve that question. So that's why for a time sake, let me skip these three problems, but very important for exam, okay? Yeah. Now we shall get into. Is that okay? Are you getting the theorem? So L is one Lagrangian, it will satisfy one equation of motion, Lagrange's equation of motion. L dash will satisfy the same equation of motion. When you add, so what is the difference between L and L dash? When you add one time derivative, total time derivative of a function. F is any differentiable function, remember, okay? So why this kind of thing happened here? Again, because of the fact that our potential was not unique. Am I right? So in the morning we have taken two different origin for a simple pendulum, and we got two different potential. Am I right? So that's why our potential is usually potential by its definition. It's usually not unique. Okay. So we are talking about scalar potential here, whatever. So again, in electrodynamics we will talk about vector potential. That's also not unique actually. Okay. So that non-uniqueness of those potentials, scalar and vector potential. So I mean, the same thing will come in Lagrangian also, because Lagrangian is defined as T minus potential. Am I right? So that's why those kind of property will be followed here. Yeah, we shall see that one later. Okay. Yeah. Any question? We shall start solving some more questions here. Let me just tell you what are the problems to be solved from Ghostin. Okay. So exercises. Okay. So 11, check whether this force is conservative or not. How do you check? If curl is 0, then it is conservative. If curl is non-zero, it is not conservative. That's it, okay? So then, so try this one, 16. Wait a second, this is a little generalized theory. So try this one by just seeing the theory and do this 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Is that okay? So let me try some. So let me try some of them. Exercises. 11, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Okay. This again, I just skipped that generalized velocity. I mean, so generalized potential part. Let me just cover it later. So do these things. Okay. Now we shall solve some more problem. Then we shall get into again theory. Some more. I mean, problem that is related to conservative field again. Is that okay? 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. 11 is check whether force is conservative or not. Anyway, we are doing those kind of question in electrodynamics. Okay, vector calculus. Yeah, everything is interlinked here. Okay. So now let me take next one. I think that's also goes in question. Obtain 19 question. Obtain the Lagrange equation of motion for spherical pendulum, mass point suspended by a rigid weightless rod. Spherical pendulum. Okay. 19th question. Spherical pendulum. Again, there are Vaikelim questions on this one, okay, spherical pendulum. Let me give it later. How do you assume now spherical pendulum? You better first assume one sphere where this is point of suspension and you are suspending one mass here. You are suspending one mass here, M. Is that okay? Now, so this is a rod. This is not planar motion. It can rotate like this. Is that okay? So it can rotate like this. This can rotate like this, or this can make this kind of oscillation. It can move anywhere on the surface of the sphere. Is that okay? That mass that can move anywhere on the surface of the sphere. Is that okay? Now, how do you create coordinates? Again, when mass moves on the surface of the sphere, again, what is the constraint? The radius. If you take this one as origin, that radius equal to constant. Am I right? We don't have to go for Cartesian coordinate. Is that okay? Don't go for Cartesian coordinate. Directly try to define everything in terms of spherical polar coordinate, because that is the generalized coordinate. There you can eliminate one coordinate. Am I right? So what is the coordinate that you can eliminate? So r equal to let me take A. He has taken no, he didn't mention. Let me take A as the length of this rod. Is that okay? This is the point of suspension. Is that okay? This is the point of suspension. Now, once you define it like this, now you got choice. How do you define coordinates? How do you define r, theta, phi? Are you getting my point? How do you define r, theta, phi? Again, everything choice, remember. You have to apply your logic very carefully. You can take z coordinate here, x here, y here, like that. That's what we take, isn't it? Don't write x cap, y cap, z cap. But what would happen here is, when you do that one, what is your theta? You have to take theta like this, am I right? So now, by some manipulation, I want to convert that spherical pendulum into simple pendulum. That's not possible if you choose the coordinate system like this. Okay? That's why what I do here is I am going to flip over that z. Is that okay? So let me take z axis like this. Again, that's your choice. I'm always saying God hasn't put that coordinate axis earlier, so that's your choice. If this is z, this cannot be x and y, am I right? Y here, x here, because x cross y is z. Okay, x cross y is z. X cap cross y cap, that's equal to z cap. Am I right? That should be followed. Is that okay? Whenever you draw a Cartesian coordinate system, these things should be followed. Okay. Now let me choose z cap like this, so that you can define this one as theta. Am I right? And you can put projection. Okay. You can put projection on xy plane. Let me just draw projection like this. Can you imagine? Projection on xy plane. So now this is the projection on xy plane. Is that okay? Now let me draw it very slowly. Is that okay? Can you imagine that one? Is that okay? This is the projection, so that this angle is phi. Are you getting my point? So see this one ulta, we will get earlier coordinate system. Are you getting my point? We have done the same thing. So what we have done, we had one radial here, we put that projection, we defined this one as phi, this one as theta. That's what I'm trying to do here. In a ulta manner. Because by some substitution, if I make that, I think pi equal to 0, what would happen? That becomes only theta is variable. That becomes planar motion. Is that okay? So that's my idea. So that's why I have defined my own coordinate. And again, you have to practice like that only. Okay. At that instant, how your mind thinks, you have to proceed with this one without loss of any logic. Is that okay? Yeah. Any question here? So shall I draw it again, or is that okay? Is that okay? It's just like this one, okay? Whatever we have drawn for spherical polar coordinate, just like this one, I am just taking z cap here. Now this mass can move anywhere on that one. So that's why this mass position is determined by r theta phi, but r equal to constant. Theta and phi are generalized coordinates. Only in spherical polar coordinate you can eliminate number of coordinates required. Is that okay? In Cartesian coordinate, all xyz, if you take xyz, all xyz are variable, am I right? But there is a constraint. What is that one? Root of x square plus y square plus z square is equal to a. Suppose this length is a, am I right? That's equal to constant. Those coordinates are related, am I right? This is the constraint equation. What does this constraint equation says? Mass should be at a equidistant from this point of suspension, am I right? So that's why we can't eliminate coordinate in the Cartesian coordinate. We have to start with Cartesian coordinate. We have to make transformation to spherical polar coordinate. But so I suggest you to think in that particular coordinate because we have only 3 to 4 systems, am I right? Cartesian, plane polar, spherical polar, cylindrical. Is that okay? That's why you should able to define everything in that particular system, in that particular coordinate quickly, directly. Okay? Now look at here. Any question? Now shall we define what is the kinetic energy? In spherical polar coordinate, half m r dot square theta dot square plus r square sine square theta phi dot square. But r equal to a. R equal to a. So any question? Let me upload them. That's better. Okay, let me upload what are the problem to be solved so that you can see that file and you can solve that. That's better. Okay, yeah. R dot square theta dot square r square sine square theta phi dot square. But r equal to a, r dot equal to 0. This was the constraint. Am I right? This was the constraint. So that's why half m. What is this one? This is 0. This is a square theta dot square plus a square sine square theta phi dot square. Remember, we don't know whether it is rotating like this or something. Okay, we are just applying whatever we know that one. Okay, so it is free to rotate. So like this. I mean, so that's why he said it is hanged by a rigid rod. It's not a planar motion. Okay, so this particle can be anywhere on the sphere of radius a. Okay, spherical pendulum. We call it a spherical pendulum. So kinetic energy. Now, what is the potential energy? Origin is here. Is that okay? So what is this one? What is the projection to z axis? Look at here. I have to draw it like this actually. Wait a second. Let me draw it again. Am I right? It should be like this. I told this. Imagine this one kind of a door. Let me draw it again, okay? If that is not clear, let me draw it again. So can I write like this? Is that okay? So I had drawn earlier, do you remember? Like this. So like this, and then I have drawn it like this. Do you remember? Imagine this one a kind of door. Movable. Is that okay? Now, what is this one? This is A. This is A. So, what is this distance? A cos theta. A cos theta. So, because your gravity is usually like this, okay, along z axis. So, that's why minus mg A cos theta. Let me draw that one again. I mean, once you draw that one, I think that problem is over. Is that okay? This is perpendicular to z axis. Can you imagine? And this is for xy plane. Can you imagine this one? This geometry? Is that okay? That's what I am trying to write. and how much what is the distance from this plane. If you imagine this one as zero potential, this is minus mg again. So along z axis you have gravity, minus mg a cos theta. This needs some practice, okay? You can do by ulta also, but little confusion will come. So here I can put phi equal to 0 and I can make it as so plane polar coordinate. Am I right? So that becomes your simple pendulum. If you put pi equal to 0, that becomes simple pendulum. Or pi equal to 90 also. You can put pi equal to any constant value. Is that okay? This is pi. You can put pi equal to any constant value. It will oscillate in one plane. Am I right? This is theta. Can you imagine that one? Now you have two generalized coordinates, theta and phi. So what is your Lagrangian? Lagrangian is equal to t minus v. So many cases they ask Lagrangian, okay? Lagrangian of the system, because you know next step is very simple. Next step is to form a differential equation. That's why forming a Lagrangian in generalized coordinate, that solves the problem half, isn't it? So half m a square theta dot square plus a square sine square theta phi dot square, okay? Let me keep on defining some more type of problem here. Again, it was there in Ghostin actually. Minus of minus plus mg a cos theta. Mg a cos theta. Over for theta, d by dt of dou L by dou theta dot minus dou L by dou theta is equal to 0. Is that okay? For phi, d by dt of dou L by dou phi dot minus dou L by dou phi is equal to 0. What is this one? Dou L by dou theta dot m a square theta dot d by dt of m a square theta dot minus dou L by dou theta. What is dou L by dou theta? I think you will get two terms. One term because of this one, other term because of this one. What is dou L by dou theta? M a 2 sin theta into cos theta pi dot square. Am I right? So minus mga sin theta a square. Can you just rotate? Pi dot square minus plus mga sin theta is equal to 0. Okay. What we have done earlier, do you remember? For simple pendulum, we divide by m a square whole term. Am I right? Can I do that one? Theta double dot d by dt of theta dot. This will come outside. Theta double dot. So minus sin theta cos theta pi dot square plus g by a sin theta is equal to 0. Am I right? Let me take it later. Let me take that part later, little later. Yeah. Any question? So theta double dot how can I write? Plus, let me take sin theta outside, g by a minus cos theta phi dot square into sin theta is equal to 0, because I want to write similar equation as in case of simple pendulum. Theta double dot G by L sin theta equal to 0. That was our simple pendulum situation. Am I right? We call this one as a kind of, look at here, we want to write like this, G double dot, how to write, G minus, okay, G minus A cos theta phi dot square whole divided by A sin theta is equal to 0, and we call this one as effective gravity, because that equation, when you compare with simple pendulum equation, this part was edited. Am I right? So theta double dot plus G dash by A sin theta is equal to 0, where the G dash is equal to G minus A cos theta phi dot square. Okay. Let me keep that one as it is. Let me just proceed. Okay. Actually, I think this pi dot would be constant. That's what I'm expecting. Shall see. Again, I just rubbed out that Lagrangian. I need phi part of the differential equation. D by dt of dou L by dou phi dot minus dou L by dou phi is equal to 0. Am I right? Wait a second. Look at the board. Whether phi comes in Lagrangian, get the Lagrangian, phi is not there. Am I right? We call that one a cyclic coordinate. We shall define later, okay, little later, conservation law. So that's why this part is 0. Can I write like this? Dou L by dou phi is equal to 0. That's why d by dt of dou L by dou phi dot is equal to 0. If this time derivative is 0, this is constant with respect to time. Am I right? What is this one? This idea? D by dt of, what is this dou L by dou phi dot? I think m A square sin square theta phi dot is equal to 0. Now don't take derivative. You have two variables. Don't take derivative. You know time derivative is 0. Put it as a constant. Is that okay? So m A square sin square theta phi dot, put it as a constant. Shall I call that constant as L? Because that is of the order of angular momentum actually. We call this one as first integral of motion, because by doing one integral you can get the function actually, okay. Sometimes we call this one as first integral of motion. Let it be. Again, let me define all of them. Can you make use of this one? In this equation, I thought like that. No, I think. Can you make use of this one? Pi dot square, you can write it as L by sin raised to 4 theta. That would be again little lengthy, okay? Yeah, let it be. Keep it as it is, okay? They can ask what is the constant of motion in this one. This is the constant of motion. Or this part is constant of motion because ma square is constant. You get my point? So later you can tell this one directly. We call this one as conjugate momentum. Okay, conjugate momentum, this one. We shall talk about that one little later, okay. He can ask question on what is the constant of motion in this one. You can give the option usually. Now let me just proceed with this one, okay. That over? Let me just proceed with that one. So theta double dot plus, look at here, that is g dash by a sin theta is equal to 0, where g dash is equal to g minus a cos theta phi dot square. Am I right? Now let me take small oscillation. Theta is very small. If theta is very small, what is sin theta? Nearly equal to theta. What is cos theta? This also needs some practice. Okay, sometimes you need to take first two terms. But we shall put cos theta nearly equal to and sin theta nearly equal to theta. Okay. So now when you do this one, look at here. So theta double dot plus what is this g dash? That becomes g minus a phi dot square whole divided by a, g dash by a. So into theta equal to 0. Am I right? Now what is your omega? This played the role of omega square. Am I right? Do you remember? That's why let me write omega square is equal to, so g minus a phi dot square by a. Is that okay? For small oscillation, it acts like a simple pendulum, but omega is little disturbed, little other than that one, other than earlier, so that we can write this one as again, can I write? Yeah, so let me write omega, okay, new omega. Let me call this one as omega prime, that's better. Omega prime square, okay, so that theta double dot plus omega prime square, theta is equal to 0, and you get that simple harmonic motion equation. Is that okay? Simple harmonic motion equation. Now look at here. What is that omega prime? Or root of g minus a phi dot square divided by a. Am I right? I want to write omega prime in terms of omega. Omega was earlier omega for simple pendulum. G by a again minus phi dot square. What is g by a? Omega square minus pi dot square. Okay, new omega. So due to that spherical pendulum, so what was omega? Omega was equal to root of g by a. So angular frequency of simple pendulum. Is that okay? That's how it is changed. Any questions? Pi dot? I mean, it's angular velocity. If there is any motion like this, that is angular velocity. But he didn't said how it is moving actually. Okay. Suppose if that rod is allowed to move on a sphere, and if you are observing only one dimension, actually it will be little corrected. You can add this correction actually. If you are not getting correct value, if it is doing like this, little like this, not on exactly one plane, and you can put that correction actually. If you know this one, again that's little difficult to calculate experimentally. When it is allowed, whatever you can't have 100% planar motion, isn't it? It's very difficult to set 100% planar motion. So then it will have some elliptic kind of motion. Then again, its omega is, I mean, that's how you get, you may get some experimental error when you do simple pendulum experiment, okay? Because of that fact. So do this one again yourself. Now let me define this again 20th question. Try it yourself. Find the equation of motion. So 21st question, a part of this question is asked last time. 21st question. Again, let me define similar question from Weikelin, okay? So now look at here, 21st question is like this. So you have a table. You have a table with a hole in that one, okay? Is that okay? With a hole here and one mass, look at here, let me just put one axis here because I am going to use what you call polar coordinate over there, okay? So you have one mass here, okay, on the table. Let me call this one as M1. Shall I call it one as M1? Yeah, let me call this mass as M1, okay? M1. And other mass is down the table through this hole. Is that okay? That is M2. And they are connected by inextensible thread. They are connected by inextensible thread. What is the degree of freedom? M2 cannot move like this, okay? M2 can move only vertically up or down. Okay, you have gravity G here. M2 can move only one dimension. M1 can move in 2 dimensions on the table, okay? It is on the table here. Is that okay? Now, I mean, actually, can you imagine that one, actually, when you give just one circular motion, when you just drag this one, or just if you drag this one, it will rotate and it will die out. Can you just imagine that one? Are you getting my point? If you just drag this one, if there is any tangential motion here, it will do some circular motion and then it will die out actually. Is that okay? Yeah, we shall see that one. What our equation says, okay? What our equation says. Now look at here, M1 can move on a plane. It has 2 degrees of freedom. M2 can move only along straight line. We are not giving this kind of motion, okay? Only along straight line. Is that okay? So then our total degree of freedom is 3. Am I right? 2 for this one, 1 for this one. Now what is the constraint? 1 constraint, because this is inextensible thread. Am I right? That is inextensible thread. So that will, what you call, how do you handle that one? I told choice of coordinate that will solve 50% of the problem. So let me choose this one as origin. Let me choose this one as origin. Is that okay? Let me take a plane polar coordinate here. This is R. This is my initial line, okay? This is my initial line. This is theta. This is R. Is that okay? That is R. Usually plane polar coordinate, you are going to draw it like this on a plane of the table. Is that okay? So now look at here. I have chosen this one as origin. Let me make this one as X. Because this will move in 1 dimension, am I right? This will move in 1 dimension. That's why M2 is at a distance X down this table. Now what is the constraint? Length of the thread. Am I right? X plus R equal to L. Is that okay? Now look at here. Even though you feel that this has 2 coordinates, what is that? R comma theta, and this has 1 coordinate X. So they are related. One constraint, one holonomic constraint, that is reduced. Is that okay? That is reduced. Now what would you prefer, writing in terms of X or writing in terms of R? Isn't it? Now you got choice. You can convert everything into X and theta or R and theta. Now you got a choice. Now what would you do? R. So R is equal to, no, I have to solve it for X now. I have to solve it for X now. X equal to L minus R, so that everything can be converted into, so now what is X dot? Minus R dot. Am I right? X dot equal to minus R dot. These are constraint outcome. Okay. Now let me start writing kinetic energy and potential energy. You could have taken x comma y, okay? Don't take x comma y here. Don't take x comma y here. Take polar coordinate. Again, that's also by practice. Is that okay? Because this length is needed. Isn't this length is needed? So that is again, that will be directly given as a one of the coordinate in plane, in case of plane polar coordinate. Am I right? But in Cartesian coordinate, if you write x comma y by defining x, y here, this is not any coordinate, remember. And again, you can't reduce number of coordinate system. Is that okay? That's why T equal to half m1 into kinetic energy of this one. So velocity square. How do you write this one? Velocity of this one, because this will move on a plane. How do you write that one? R dot square plus r square theta dot square. What is this one? Velocity square in case of plane polar coordinate. Plus half m2. What is this one? X dot square. Am I right? X dot is the velocity of m2. Can I write like this? m1 is in plane polar coordinate. So m2, usually it has linear motion. Now I have to write x in terms of r again. Half m1 r dot square plus r square theta dot square. So plus half m2, what is x dot minus r dot? Square means r dot square again. So half m1 plus m2 into r dot square plus half m1 r square theta dot square. You better to write like this. Isn't it? That's our kinetic energy. And only two generalized coordinate, r and theta. You could have chosen theta and x also. Okay, that our choice again. So what is your potential energy? Now again this also choice. Look at here. Where you take your origin. You can take this ground also. Okay, you can take this ground. Suppose if you take this ground, suppose height of the table is h. Is that okay? Height of the table is h. So now what is this one? You need this one. I'll write this one as h naught. You need this h. What is this h? H minus x. You can use that one. H naught minus x. This height minus this one. You can use that one. But what I prefer by the earlier method, I prefer this one. Okay, no loss. I told potential by choosing ground as the reference point, potential by choosing table as the reference point is changed by only one constant. It doesn't matter for equation of motion. Okay, so that's why. So let me choose origin here, so that minus m2, because look at here, if I choose ground as the reference point, I have to write potential for this one as well as this one. Anyway, potential for this one is constant then, am I right? It is at the constant height, it is moving at the constant height. But here when you choose the origin here, you don't have to write potential here, because in that level, this is at zero height or down, isn't it? So that's why only m2 is down. What m2g x here, or minus m2g, what is x? L minus r. Because you want to convert everything into r and theta. Now, so again you have r, you have theta. So find the equations of motion. Let me define further problem later in this. Okay, let me define further problem later. 3n minus k. Now don't go for 3n. 3n is when all n particles are in space and you have k constraint. Okay. First to see that one. If there is no constraint, first see the system. This can move only on the plane. This had only 2 degree of freedom. This can move only on the, that is the restriction we initially put actually, only on this one. Suppose if you take 3n minus k, okay, so take this one as 3 degree of freedom, 3 degree of freedom, total 6, okay. So now put the constraint on this one, move on the only on the plane, one constraint, am I right? So put 2 constraint to this one. Move only along the line. How many constraint now? 1 plus 2, 3. 3 is gone. So now 3 more is remain. So am I right? Don't go for that one. Don't go for that one. Don't make it that much complex. Okay. It is already given. This is moving in 1 dimension. This is moving in 2 dimension. Ordinarily. But still we have one constraint that will reduce it. Or if you go for 3 and 3, so restriction on the plane, you have one constraint. Restriction on one straight line, you have 2 constraints. We have seen that one. Am I right? When particle is restricted to straight line, that means you have 2 constraints. Is that okay? So 1 plus 2 here, total is 3 constraints. Is that okay? Out of 6, 2 masses, 6, 3 is subtracted, 3 is remained. What are those 3? R, theta and x. Again, that's also not complete. That's also independent. So not independent. They are dependent. How? Now look at here. R and x are dependent. Again, one more is reduced. You can think like that. If you go for 3n minus k expression, okay. But I suggest again practice this one. No need to again think like that, okay. So it is already in a plane. So 2 degree of freedom. It's already in 1 dimension. Again, further, how do you reduce that one? That you have to think. And if there is any relation between any of the coordinate we defined, then that's not, you can't apply your Lagrangian theory, isn't it? Our coordinates should be generalized coordinate, they should be independent of each other, there should be no more relation between them. That is the definition of generalized coordinate. Again, we are running out of time here. So let me define some more problem. Can you try? M here, spring constant K here, okay. When you just drag, so frictionless, okay, this is frictionless. Just like your, what you call, simple pendulum, spring, oscillating spring, spring constant K, when you just drag this one, it will be here somehow, okay, when you just push this one, it will be here and it will do oscillation, am I right? It will do oscillation. Now, where would you choose your origin? Because I need to first fix my origin. You can choose anywhere again. You can choose anywhere. But I prefer mean position as the origin. This one as the origin. So that this displacement is x. So that this displacement is x. Is that okay? That displacement is x. Is that okay? Let me choose this one as the origin, mean position as the origin. Okay, you can choose this one as the origin also, okay? No loss, no loss. And let me give those idea in small oscillation again, okay? Now look at here. Once I choose it like this, next step is, I need to write kinetic energy. What is kinetic energy? Half m. X dot is the velocity. Am I right? X dot is the velocity, only one dimensional motion. What is the potential energy? What is the potential energy? Now, how do you write this potential energy? Half kx square. What is this x actually? Displacement from the mean position. If you have taken origin somewhere else, this would be different. Since I have taken origin at the mean position, displacement from the mean position is x itself. That's the simplest way. Okay, that is the simplest way. Are you getting my point? Try the same thing by choosing origin here and by choosing some x naught as the mean position. Okay, do that one later. Okay. Now again you can take L is equal to t minus v. Again you have only one generalized coordinate. Find equation. I think you will get again x double dot plus a root of k by m the whole square, x equal to 0. You will get this kind of equation, I hope. Omega square equal omega square x, like that, okay? Or k by m usually. Can you do this one? After doing this one, again, these kinds of problems are there in JC Padya. Okay. After doing this one, let me define one more problem here. Try this one. One big mass here. Is that okay? One pendulum here. Small mass. Of length L, this pendulum moves only in a plane. This pendulum moves only in a plane. So that's why this is theta. Is that okay? This is the mass. Now find Lagrangian in your way. Find equation of motion in your way. How many degree of freedom? Here you had only 1 degree of freedom, mass which moves in a linear way. How many degree of freedom? Without constraint, how many degree of freedom? Why 3? Small mass moves in a plane, so big mass moves along the straight line. Am I right? Again, frictionless. If you have taken friction, you can't apply. Why? Our Lagrangian, whatever we define, that's for conservative field. Okay, you have to take again frictionless here. Okay, frictionless here. Now try to do this problem. Try to do this problem. Let me do it tomorrow. Okay, let me define one more problem. Again, planar motion, but your mass is suspended by a spring, not by a rod or a thread, or spring constant K. Or spring constant K. I think this is old Princeton question. And you have gravity. Can you eliminate number of coordinates? Planar motion, I said planar motion, okay? It is doing like this because the spring is also stretchable. Can you eliminate number of coordinates? Now, I have to define one more thing. Suppose R0 is equilibrium length of spring, okay? Make use of this one. Try that problem. Now just go through rigid body dynamics. Either you Google it or whatever you do, finding moment of inertia of different structure. Is that okay? Before tomorrow, now only, okay? Do it now only, okay? Rigid body dynamics, so that we shall go to some more problem, okay? So on a rigid body, because when I take a disc rolling down and something else rotating or something, I need rigid body dynamics. Okay, I need rigid body dynamics. Again, I hope you are doing. Again, if I start, it will take time. Complex numbers and functions. Okay, basics. Yeah, let me put this one as a note so that you can solve one more problem. Wait a second. We had a very earlier, is that over? Try this one, okay, yourself. Again, this is also movable. It's also movable, okay? Be careful and try that one yourself. Try to define your own coordinate, okay? Prepare to be wrong. So take it as a note here. Again, while revising, I think by that time we will have electrodynamic concept, and again this would be more clear. We had very earlier equation d by dt of dou t by dou qj dot minus dou t by dou qj is equal to qj. Do you remember? Generalized force corresponds to jth generalized coordinate. Am I right? Now look at here. You had taken this conservative system situation dou v by dou qj. Actually, I haven't derived this one. I have taken this one directly. Okay, you can derive this one also. Okay. For conservative system, you had taken this one. Okay. So there are some types of system where qj is a special case. Okay, special case. Qj can be derived out of a potential, scalar potential like this actually. So d by dt of dou u by dou qj dot, electromagnetic potential is one of the example. Is that okay? Electromagnetic potential is one of the example, minus dou u by dou qj. Are you getting my point? Where u is, we call this one as velocity dependent potential, q dot t. Usually we will not take time dependency. So we call that one as velocity dependent potential. Velocity dependent potential. In case of velocity dependent potential, usually that is non-conservative system. Okay. But for a special case, for some class of system, you can derive your force, generalized force out of velocity dependent potential like this, in this kind of equation. Then you can write a Lagrangian kind of differential equation like this. Look at here. Next step. Next step is what I do here is, if I substitute this one here, if I substitute and if I rearrange, I can write this kind of equation. Can you just do this one or see the book? Okay. So t minus u, wait a second, dou by dou qj dot of t minus u. Because this will be here and you can take it here. Okay. And this part will be here. You can take it here. Minus dou by dou qj of t minus u. Okay. We have written u because to make it different from v. V was velocity independent potential or conservative potential. Is that okay? So this is velocity dependent potential is equal to 0. Look at here. Now let me define Lagrangian like t minus u. And I can write similar equation. I can write similar equation in case of non-conservative field, but a special case. If generalized force is related to potential in this way, I can write d by dt of dou L by, better to write, he will write some other type of L, dou qj dot minus dou L by dou qj is equal to 0, where L is equal to t minus u, where u is velocity dependent potential, where you can have your generalized force from u in this possible way. Okay. Now can you try this problem number, exercise number 16? Try that 16 problem. And our electromagnetic potential will obey this kind of thing, okay? Where your force can be derived, I mean, your Lorentz force. Do you know that one Lorentz force? Q into E plus Q into V cross B, like that. That kind of force that can be derived out of the potential in this kind of equation. We shall see that one after electrodynamics. Again, everything is interlinked here. Any question? We shall see in the morning.